Hi, ladies. It's Johnny here from ManSpeak. Monday, 8:30 p.m. And tonight, of course, is interview with a man. And my special guest tonight is Devesh Kumar, who I've spoken to about last night. Devesh Kumar is a successful momentum expert. But the interesting part about Kumar from a ManSpeak interview perspective tonight is that he's successful at what he does, and but he's 32 and he's been single for all his life. I suppose it'd be interesting to find out what goes through Devish's mind around the subject. So tonight we're going to talk about raw questions around love, dating, and relationships. Again, like I've spoken to the ladies on the group page, when it comes time to these men speak interviews, it's just about respecting the man's space, because during the interview the men do become vulnerable, and I'm okay for you to ask questions. Just write down a comment if you've got any questions during the interview, and we'll get to those questions during the interview or towards the end. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Devesh. So thank you for coming on board tonight, Devesh.
Pleasure, mate. Glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. Awesome. So just tell the ladies on the page a little bit about yourself so they have a better understanding.
Sure. Just skipped out a little bit there.
Yeah, skipping out a little bit from my side too.
Well, good, mate. We'll make it work. You know, this is variety's a spice of life, right? And these things just make life more interesting.
That's what we do.
So, I'm not one for status or labels. I'm just a regular guy with a lot of heart and a lot of passion. I'm kind of obsessed with human potential, and I just work with people that work with people, and I just help them live life as a true expression of who they are. That's what I do.
Yeah, awesome. Now, like we've been speaking to before the interview tonight. Now, you actually help 90% of your client base is women. Is that correct?
That's true.
Yeah. So, and you actually help them from an emotional side of it. Is that correct, or is that the general gist of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. About helping people get out of their own way. Sorry, mate, it's just a little bit delay. Go on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay on it tonight. So coming from that background of it, so you're 32, like you said, is single. Tell us probably a little bit of a background so that when we can understand tonight of your background as far as relationships with women. Has there been a time when you've been close to getting into a relationship and you've drawn back? Where's it all started from for yourself?
Sure. So I'll keep it nice and I'll summarize it all.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Because sometimes I go on passion rants.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I may come across as but 3 or 4 years ago, I was at a place where I was wearing a mask on the outside, and I couldn't really look at myself in the mirror and feel good about it. So, we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. And because I wasn't confident in myself, the people that I did attract were a reflection of that. So I wasn't able to really have any depth or substance, mostly because I was carrying around my own pain in opening myself up, because that meant being vulnerable. It meant, allowing ourselves to receive love also means that we risk being hurt at a level that we haven't had before. And up until 3 or 4 years ago, that was really the thing that was really holding me back. I had a few experiences. I had women come into my experience, but I never really allowed myself to really commit, to really open myself up and hold the space that they deserved and hold the space that I deserved. Obviously 3 or 4 years ago, that changed. And for the first time in my life, I told myself that I love myself, and I actually meant it. And that it felt amazing. And the more I realized that, the more I realized how much pain other people were carrying around. And I just wanted to live my life helping people be free of the burdens that I'd carried around. After I opened myself up, I then started actually attracting a few women, especially around doing the work that I was doing in the space that I'm in, being very active on social media. And I was then open to a relationship. I met a few women, and then I realized they were a reflection of the unresolved stuff that I was still holding on to. And we weren't ready to be in a relationship that was really committed, you know?
Yeah.
And whilst I opened myself up, I had a few experiences with a few different women, and there was so many signs time and time again where I saw the parts of myself that were still needing to be, how do I put this? I saw other people that were mirroring some of the stuff that I was still carrying.
Yeah.
And I realized I still had more work to do. And so I chose to keep doing the inner work on myself so I can strengthen my relationship with myself, so I can strengthen the work that I'm doing. And at the point where I'm in now, I'm actually really enjoying this space with myself.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I always thought that I should be in a relationship, but after I went down that route, I realized that I actually just really love being in this space with myself for now.
Yeah.
And I'm actually learning how to be intimate with myself, which is something that I hadn't given myself space for. And it feels really good. And right now I'm traveling a lot. I'm exploring. And whilst I'm open, I know that in a year or so from now, I'll focus more on strengthening that. But right now, I just want to explore. I don't want to have anything that binds me. I want to be able to travel. You know, I want to be able to just, at the drop of a hat, I just spent 2 months in Bali and just travel around the world. And that's really the stage that I'm in now. So I hope that sort of gives you a broad overview.
So, like you're 32 at the moment. So again, it's about the women kind of understand from a man's mind. So, so let's go back to probably your 20s or early 20s. What was your mindset around women at that time? Like, what was your perception of women in relationships?
Awesome. And I saw Elizabeth just commented. I think Elizabeth's awesome. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you. I really think that actually it was quite easy. I think it's raw insight was, I don't know if this is apparent to you, but I always saw the people that were wearing a mask just because I used to wear it.
Yeah.
You know, and I always noticed that the very women that appeared the most confident were the ones that were really crying to be seen and heard more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that I've never been able to do is surface level. And knowing that I had the pain and I was carrying around with me and I was aware of it, I saw it in other people. You know? And I don't know if that impacted on it was almost this thing at the back of my mind. I knew that unless they work on their stuff, they really can't connect with me at the level that I want to connect with them. And until I work on my stuff, I can't really connect with them at the level that will serve them. So it wasn't really that I was looking at these women that were there on the outside, but that weren't really even be able to present with themselves. And I didn't feel like I was missing out. I really just saw what they were carrying at a surface level, you know, and it really, so I didn't judge them. I just saw what they were carrying, and yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, it's good. No, like I suppose, and like I suppose what you're trying to say too is that when it came to your 20s, you didn't want to be in a relationship just for the hell of it being in a relationship. You know what I mean? That status that, you know, oh well, I'm 21, I have to be, I must have a girlfriend. 23 or 24 or whatever, you want to, and you feel like when you're looking at somebody, you're seeing yourself. And at that stage in your life, you weren't happy with yourself. Is that correct?
I wasn't. I really wasn't. No.
Yeah. And what we seen, like, what was that mirror image? What we actually seen?
So you'll notice this now with people that you meet. There's no such thing as a coincidence. There's no such thing. Every single thing is a synchronicity, and every single person that you meet mirrors something. So the people that I would attract, it would be somebody that would I would see when they were doubting themselves, or when they didn't believe in themselves, or they felt the need to make themselves feel more important and put themselves out there and want to be seen and want to be noticed, because that was a reflection of what they were holding on inside.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was the other way around. I used to try and hide and run away from it. Do you see what I mean? So even though we had the same sort of limitations, we would mirror. And the reason why I would attract those women is because it was a reflection of the unhealed feminine energy within me. And the reason why they would attract me is because I'd be in resonance with that. And it was an example of the unhealed feminine in a different way within them that they need to work on. You know, so you're always attracting the people that mirror you in some way, that are in resonance with you in some way.
Yeah. How would you, if you actually got into it, how would you think, or how long would the relationship last, would you think, if you did get into a relationship with someone at that stage who mirrored you? If you actually did get into a relationship with someone in your 20s feeling that way, how long would you think that would last?
That is completely dependent on the rate that either me or my partner would grow.
Yeah.
Because when it's like with friends, and it's like when people like each other that are like each other, right? So when two people come together and it's because at some level they're in resonance with each other, and they have the same sort of issues and the same limitations almost in a way that sort of mirror each other, like not quite the same. But if one person grows too far, then the other person feels a discord, and the other person now feels there's something that's not there, because the person that you met is now evolved, and now you're feeling like you're left behind, or you might be evolving and your partner might be feeling left behind, and now your values shift. The way you show up shifts. So that could have happened 2 weeks into the relationship. That could have happened 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I guess it just depends on. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, because in the day, like you said, one person's still stuck holding on to themselves, and holding on to those insecurities, where the other person's kind of got out of that, and then moving forward, and the other person goes, well, how about me? Why can't I feel that? And they're being left behind. Is that what kind of you're trying to say?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important. Having a relationship is not about having. And I say this because most of the work that I do with my clients is on their relationships with themselves and how that's impacted their relationships with other people. But it's not about two halves coming together to make a whole. It is about two wholes coming together and making something greater than neither of the opposite parties can hold space for by themselves. So if I'm a half looking for someone to complete me, the moment that half completes themselves in a better way than I can, then there's automatic misalignment. Whereas if there's two people that know their values, that don't know what they want, and that have learned how to be with themselves and their emotions and all of themselves, well, they're not going to be then triggered by somebody else moving ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just comes down to people who, security with some people who do get into a relationship, I suppose, wanting the other person to fix them.
Absolutely.
And I remember before we spoke, before the interview went live, and I'd like to touch on a bit more tonight, I think it's a fantastic subject to bring up, is a whole masculine and feminine side of it. So I know you can talk to the cows come home on this, but I suppose I suppose it'd be great for the ladies to hear this from someone else. What's your intake on the whole masculine and feminine side when it comes to relationships?
So every single person has feminine energy, and every single person has masculine energy.
Yeah.
The illusion has been that I'm one or the other. And what that's caused is it's caused a segregation where there's the overly dominant masculine types, and then there's the overly dominant feminists. And we're two different people. This is who I am, and I'm, but it's bullshit, because real masculinity is not about. By the way, can you still hear me, mate? It's just skipping a little bit. Just want to make sure you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here. Perfect.
So real masculinity is not about. It's synthetic. Synthetic is the fake. It's a surface level masculinity. It's not about the macho bravado bullshit. Look at me, right?
Yeah.
The real masculinity, the divine masculinity, whatever you want to call it, is about compassion. It's about trust. It's about love, and it's about holding space for the woman to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because women feel unsafe all the time. Men don't even realize it, but women feel unsafe all the freaking time. There's so many times 80% of women actually feel afraid even just walking down the street multiple times a day. And guys don't even realize this. It's because we haven't created a world where women can actually allow themselves to express themselves. So what they do is that they put on the masculine shield. Anytime a woman feels unsafe, she puts on the masculine shield because it's how she's learned how to protect herself.
Yeah.
But and real femininity, divine feminine, is really about is nurturing. It's loving. You know, it's meeting. Do you see what I mean when you go beneath the surface? That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
And it's time for all of us to really start honoring the feminine inside us, especially the men, because in that space, we are then holding space for women, and they're crying for it. They're desperate for it, and they're hurting.
Yeah.
And without it, 80% of women are actually putting on the masculine shield. Male-dominated industries at work, consistently showing up out of alignment with themselves because that's how they learn how to survive. But deep down inside, they want to embrace and step into their feminine.
Yeah, yeah, so true. You've definitely hit on the head with that side of it. So, in knowing that you know from that side of it, what things do you look for? What's your interpretation of a relationship with a woman? Like how, now that you're 32, and I suppose like in the last 4 years, you've found yourself a bit more. What are some of the things that you look for in a woman that would spark you compared to, say, someone 10 years ago? What's the difference from you at 22 to 32?
Perfect. I actually had this on my wall, and I had it, and then I started. Anyway, I took it down for a reason, but I really think that it really comes down to 3 core fundamental things. And the number one, it has to be somebody that has the ability to respond and not react. That is really the number one thing for me. And what I mean by that is that they have the ability to be present with what's going on with them and actually respond instead of being in reaction mode and being triggered by emotions and being driven by what's missing or what they've gone through. Yeah. It has to be somebody that has a certain level of self-awareness, because for me, it is really I'm all about transparency, and I really believe that the most important thing you can give anybody is your time and your trust. And if I'm going to show up as 100%, then I deserve better than 99.9%, and I'm not willing to settle for 99.9. I want somebody else that is just aware. You know, they don't have to have all this shit sorted out. I don't. And that's totally cool. That's what makes us human, right? Yeah. And I want somebody that I can actually have a human conversation 100%. With, that knows what they want, and that is willing to say no to what they don't. Yeah. And that is vulnerable enough to give themselves a chance and to express themselves. That is by far the single most important and totally non-negotiable thing.
Wow, that's amazing. I think that's a fantastic way to look at it. Yeah, and I suppose, like you said, you got to stick with it, don't you? We all have traits that are vulnerable, and we're not 100% perfect. I think that's what it has to come down to. So, you said you've had a couple of women previously. What are a couple of things that has stopped you from going further, like knowing that type of stuff that you're after? What type of things have stopped you from taking those women into a relationship?
Perfect. So the funny thing is the one that I kind of wanted to really explore it with didn't want to go beyond just a physical relationship. And, she said that we had that agreement, so to speak, right from the beginning, which is totally fine because I realized we both wanted different things. And we just said, hey, look, we actually want different things, and going any further with this is actually going to do more harm than good. So we kind of just respected that we were at different places, and we just decided just to stop having a physical relationship because of where it was going and where it wasn't going. Depends on which side you look at it. With the rest of them, in the past year and a half, I've had 3 women basically just ask me out. which is and it before I was just very open and honest, but by the time the third one was very sort of can't you see we're meant to, I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, but we're meant to be together, this is meant to be, and it just got too full on, and it was just sort of, it was the mirror once again. Here I was really like I've never used this word, nonchalant. I don't know where the hell that came from about it. Whereas this other person is like, no, I really want this. And do you see what I mean? We're always attracting mirrors, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, what is it within me that's attracting this, where it kind of feels right, but I know that it definitely doesn't serve me and it doesn't meet my criteria? Well, that was a reflection of me not having my own boundaries within myself. There's still some stuff within myself that I wasn't honoring within myself. So I was attracting stuff that wasn't honoring what I actually wanted. So it gave me an insight onto the work that I get to do now with myself. And whilst I'm not closed off to it, if it doesn't feel right, then just not willing to settle. And plus, it's not really a priority for me at the moment, but I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, perfectly. I think because the perception, I might be wrong, I might be right here, but I think the perception women have is that guys are just one thing. A lot of the time, when it comes to relationships with women, where you're going from a deeper level, which is amazing. I suppose I know if the women are on the group tonight have actually heard anything like this, where you're coming from you're not going to settle for anything, second best, basically. But out of the three women that you were with, was there anyone that were close, or pretty much there was no chance for any of those three women to hold space with you?
So the funny thing is that so it wasn't 3, it was 5. But it was, honestly, I just call me the most oblivious dude, but I because I'm really present with everybody, and it's like, I love just listening to the words behind people's words, right? And sometimes I don't realize I'm not good at reading the signs or playing the game, and I'm just present, I'm just there, and I hold that space for people. And what I realized the first 3 times was I was holding space, which to me was normal, but to the other person, they were like, wow, no one's ever held that space for me before. And it turned into something without me even realizing it. And I didn't actually even know the other person was feeling that way until they communicated to me. And I just said to them, look, I'd have to be straight up with you. I can't dishonor you because I can't. Like, you deserve better. And if I don't feel it, then I don't feel it,
Yeah.
And I can't do anything about that. And I just want to be open and transparent with you. Whilst they were great women, I just didn't think of them that way. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm not feeling it, then I just can't. The 5th one was very, I learned a lot about myself from that space, but we were just at different places. It just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't going to work at all.
Things didn't line up. I suppose at the end of the day, things weren't lining up for both of you. Is that correct?
That's true. The other person was almost dependent on a relationship, because not having it was not sitting well with them. And coming from that place is never a great place to start a relationship.
No, definitely not, because they're relying on you to fill them up. Obviously, when, in the day, that's not your job, is it? In the day, like you said, I think it's somewhat perfect before. You want to be with someone, they've got to love themselves before they can get into a relationship. I think that was a great thing that you actually said before. And I think what you said before too was, I've got to remember something that you said before about the relationships, that it's a whole mirror effect. Do you feel like each one of those 5 women, there was a bit of a mirror effect, seeing yourself in all those 5 women?
I think the first couple were definitely just signs coming in that, hey, you're opening something up within yourself to be in that space. And I really think that, hey, Vanessa, good to see you from you. Thank you for the kind words. And you're a wise woman, and an amazing one at that. I think the first couple was really just me, getting that little sign from the universe or whatever you want to call it, just that little knock saying, hey, there's something that you need to work on, because I believe there's nothing that comes into experience that you're not ready for at some level, right? So it really made me think, I believe every single opportunity, there's a big message behind every little experience, every single person that you meet, right?
I agree.
And I think that was it in the first couple. And beyond that, it was really, and when it kept happening, I'm like, okay, there's something I need to look within myself, and there was always something, but I really think that every single time that happened, it allowed me to go deeper within myself. It allowed me to open myself up even more to experience a deeper sense of love for myself that I didn't have before. And that amplified my work and the work that I do with my clients. So I grew immensely from each experience in my relationship with myself, in my ability to hold space for me and for other people. So I grew from it. I really did. It taught me a lot.
Which is awesome. That's one thing I picked up on before you were talking about. You said it at the start of the interview, like with women, they want to feel safe. When they've got a man around there. Do you feel like you spoke about there were a couple of women out there you didn't realize till later on that they were attracted to you because you were actually listening to them? Obviously, they came from a mentality where they obviously the men they were with previously weren't listening to them. Is that what you felt when this was happening with these women?
I have a very strong feminine energy. I'm grounded, and it's not something I had before, but I feel very grounded. So I'm able to hold that space, but I'm really able to. I love talking about the emotions. I love going deep into the emotions, and I really think that with that there comes a lot of resonance, and because they resonate with it, it's automatic. It's automatic for someone to have that level of trust because we meet at a resonance level. Yeah, and that's what it's like with other women, right? When women have close friends that actually understand them and get them, they hold that space for them, right? Yeah, because at some level they're open to talking about those emotions, and I think that without overcomplicating it is simply a lot of things. Whereas guys aren't willing to really step into that space. Yeah,
it's true.
So I think that's
a lot of guys that when on the most men, I suppose, when a woman's talking, they're already thinking how to solve the problem. But women don't want the problem to be solved; they just want to be heard.
Just listen,
I think that's where I suppose
it is. There's this book. It's an amazing book, and I think if everybody on this planet read this book, people would just be, the world would be a better place because men and women would actually at some level understand each other. Because let's face it, there's this whole talk about women equality and men, it's bullshit. And it's 100%. Bullshit